So players said, we are very grateful to you for having creating so many excellent and entertaining games, Robo-Rally, Magic, Netrunner and so many others. You really changed the world of gaming, and for that we just have to say thank you. Without being too much nostalgic, what are your feelings regarding what was Netrunner?
Netrunner, in a lot of ways, I felt like was my best trading card game design. But in some ways it was my best, instead it was maybe my best board game design, because it feels more like a board game, yes. And that was probably one of its problems. I had a lot of lessons from Magic, and I was trying to make a richer game. I like Magic very much. Every time I return to it, it's exciting. But with Magic, often the cards played you. And with Netrunner, I wanted a game where you played the cards.
Yes, it's the opposite.
And one thing I love in games is bluffing. And with Magic, there is bluffing, but you have to be very good to bluff.
Yes.
And so I wanted to make a game more like poker, where you would bluff very early in your game career. And so that's what I set out to do with Netrunner, and I think I succeeded with that.
Oh, yes. Yes, sure.
And so I have fond memories of the game, but I'm certainly disappointed it didn't do better. I think occasionally about looking back at it and seeing if I could make a new version or something.
Were you aware that this game would be so prophetic? Our real world is more and more similar to the Netrunner universe. Big corporations, more powerful as states, hacking and virtual world growing fast, more and more people dependent on the Matrix, or grid or cyber world, whatever the name.
Yeah, I thought that the genre could be prophetic, but I certainly can't take credit for that, since it's Art Talasaurian's universe that I was in, and I was a big fan of Gibson and Snow Crash and things like that. Yeah, it was a genre which looked into the future in an interesting way and often accurate.
If you would have created Netrunner this day in 2012, what would have changed compared to the original version? Maybe some different artwork, mechanics?
I think the mechanics would be similar. I'd have to look at it again. I haven't looked at it for a while. I think the mechanics I was happy with, and still am happy with. I mean, there's probably some small changes because I've changed as a designer, and yes. I probably would have simplified some things. I'd say the biggest change would be that I might not make it a trading card game. I think it was back when it was designed, we were exploring the space of trading card games and didn't really know what the boundaries of that space were. And it seems a shame to have a game. I think trading card games can be very rich, but it's a shame to have a game which doesn't need to be one, because it just makes it so heavy, so hard to develop, so hard for the players, and so forth. So I would redesign so that it wasn't a trading card game, but a standalone game with expansions. Maybe the art I would change, I don't know. I like the art, I love the flavor text and the universe, but I would think about trying to figure out a way to make it more broadly accessible. Even though I like that part of it a lot, it still feels too niche, too much for hobbyists, and not broad enough.
How do you feel when you hear players thinking that Netrunner is one of the best customizable card game ever, if it is not the best of all time?
I think the mechanics of it are very good as a game. For best trading card game, I think it had some problems. But the problems were that it didn't need to be a trading card game,
yes, yes.
And which we've talked some about. So for instance, the best sealed deck game, that could be, but a game which is if it's not going to be an excellent customizable game, one where you actually construct the decks, then it doesn't need to be a trading card game. And so I appreciate the thought, but and when it came out, I actually a lot of people spoke very highly of it, and I believed that. But over time, I've come to decide that there were a lot of reasons why perhaps it didn't do as well as we had hoped, and most of those I think were because Wizards was concentrating on Magic, and also once people start playing a trading card game, they only have time to play one. But over time, I've decided that some of it is also the fault of the design. Perhaps if it had been a standalone product, it would have been a little better.
Are you still playing Netrunner?
No. But I would like to play more. That's mostly because I like to play new games and games that I'm working on. and Netrunner is neither of those things. But I certainly would play it again and would like to play it again, and I'm looking forward to showing my son the game. He's now just getting into Magic, and I play lots of different games with him. But no, I can't say that I do right now.
Have you played or seen any of the 18 fan expansion? What do you think about it? Do you think, like us, the most virtual expansion are incomplete drafts, unbalanced, badly worded? Which one do you like most? No.
No, I can't say those. You have sent me some links to them, and I have looked at them. And they were fun to look through. But
the random keywords and
yeah.
Yes.
And it was really nice to see such attention had been paid to. I mean, the art was good. The mechanics were inventive. I'm not in a position right now that I can talk about being balanced or anything like that. But it's great to see that sort of enthusiasm for the game, and it does make me interested in revisiting it.
Regarding the still ongoing Netrunner fan community, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's really flattering that people have stayed up with. That does make me interested, as I said, in looking into it again, seeing maybe I can get the game from Wizards. I don't know. Wizards it's not that they, of course, that they dislike the game or anything like that. It's just it's a very small potatoes for them. It's not worth a lot. And but at the same time, if somebody says, well, this isn't worth much to us, so we'll give it to you, or we'll sell it to you, or if that happens and then it becomes big, then it's all risk for them. The person, not for Wizards, but for the person who does that, it's only risk. There's nothing they get from it, other than perhaps my goodwill if I ask very nicely. So,
would you accept to give your approval as father of this game to our small players community? At least for us, the Netrunner online ruling team has recognized and qualified authority for the game evolution and rules. This is what Wizards should have made at first place. This would be a great help to reinforce our reputation for the game.
I'm open to that. I have to look into it a little more because I don't want to endorse one group if there's another without looking at them.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. And so, but I think that's a great idea. I think I should endorse some group, and I don't think there's a lot of groups, and I think that you all have certainly what I've looked at certainly have the best reputation for it. But since I haven't looked into it seriously, I don't want to.
Okay.
Say that without looking into it.
Yes, maybe one day we could speak of it.
Yeah. I'm totally open to that.
Perfect.
Okay.